Going Deep, the local show. This is the Demigods. Going Deep, the local show, and that was Demigods. And we actually have the Demigods in studio. What's up, guys?
What's up?
How's it going?
Hello.
Y'all like the studio applause?
Yes,
oh, yeah.
fantastic.
Very nice.
thank you guys so much for coming in.
Well, thank you for having us on.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
My pleasure. Two of y'all were at the superhero party that we had a week ago. Josh, how come you didn't come?
Why didn't I go? I can't remember. I think I was busy working on my new film or something like that. So,
cool.
Next time I definitely will be there.
Well, I'm actually excited that you're here, Josh, because one of the things that I do every day religiously is listen to radio all day long when I'm here working. And one of the shows that I really enjoy listening to religiously is Red Ice Radio, which you were on about a month ago or 2 months ago.
Back in July.
Yeah, man. How is that? That's awesome.
Well, it was really kind of a thing that my listeners of my show had been trying to get done for quite a few years, sending emails, and then finally they just got me on. And yeah, it was a huge show. My listenership for my show has gone through the roof since then. I've got people all around the world listening now. I mean, I've got listeners in over 32 countries now for my show. So it was an amazing thing, and I'm going to be back on there again, I think, the next few months. So
oh, wow,
should be pretty fun, yeah.
Now, it was really neat because I get on to watch the show, and I see that it's Josh Reeves, and I'm like, whoa, that's Jamie's brother. I at the time, I didn't know you had your own show. I just heard of you from Jamie and Amberly talking about you, that you had some films and whatnot. But yeah, that was really cool. So how did that come about?
Well, actually, I started doing the show back in 2007, and it was Jamie and I had been doing some stuff in the 9/11 truth community in Dallas before that, and we'd done some different activism stuff, and I had released my first film in 2007 called 9/11 New World Rising. We had a premiere at the Lakewood Theater here in Dallas. We had William Rodriguez, who was the last guy pulled out of the World Trade Center alive. We had him there. And after that, it was kind of wanting to do something bigger and wanting to get the information out. And actually, it was our brother, our other sibling, Jake, who just said, man, you should do your own show. And I'd never thought about it. And I said, yeah, I should do my own show. And so I started doing that. And right as soon as I started doing that, new information started falling into my lap immediately, and it just started springboarding. And then after a few months, I've been on air. I don't think I've been on air maybe 4 or 5, 6 months. I started getting these emails from, and you get emails sent to you all the time, people trying to send you music to play on your show and stuff. And I kept getting these emails from this, and I was like, who is this? I didn't know who it was, and I said, who is this weird, strange girl who keeps sending me this music? And I was just kind of, it's probably not any good. And then Jamie was like, hey, did you hear that one girl's music that she sent you? I was like, no, I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. She's like, you should listen to it. It's really good. So I went and listened to it, and there was a song called 33rd Degree, and it was freaking awesome. And I immediately started playing it on my show, and then, of course, that turned out to be Delphi over here.
Wow.
And we all became friends after that, and started hanging out and stuff. And then I guess it was 2010, after I had worked with Delphi on one of her solo albums, and with Jamie as well, and Delphi wanted to go out and start playing some shows, and so her and I started talking about playing together. Jamie and I had been playing some stuff together, and we were kind of like, hey, we're all kind of into the same frame of mind. We're trying to, bring enlightenment to people through whatever form we can. So why don't we put this together and make a band? And that's pretty much brings us up to now.
That's awesome. It's almost it's very synchronistic.
I was about to say the same exact thing, actually.
That's awesome. Now, okay, so obviously, in your films, you have like this message that you're trying to portray, wake people up. So obviously, that's gonna be what your music is about, correct?
Somewhat, yeah. I would say, it all comes from, the different information that inspires us. But, a lot of the ways that we write and stuff come from, what is surrounding us and what we're looking at. And, as artists, we're trying to interpret what this world is all about and what this, everything that's going on, and trying to understand that. But trying to do it in an artistic form, and trying to do it with a personal feeling to it too, that's to try and make it have more of an impact on people, because I've always thought that music is one of the greatest ways to reach people on any level, spiritually, emotionally, consciously, anything like that. Music transfers through many different ways into a person's heart. So
yeah, I think truth in all its forms, it kind of is what our music kind of represents, because you may have a song like what Delphi has, like 33rd Degree or Soylent Green Blues, where there's, obvious, blatant stuff in there that has to do with conspiracies and JFK and aliens and stuff like that. But then we have other songs that may, some of Jamie's stuff that it's truth, but it's stuff that more deals with like, the deeper qualities of life, esoteric things, spiritual aspects and stuff like that, or maybe just a song that has, stuff that's true to life and that people can relate to. So I think that whether we're talking about, as you said, maybe conspiracies or alien stuff, or whether it's just stuff that's true to life, to everybody's life, I think that's what we try to encompass in our songs.
Yeah,
definitely. Let's talk a little bit about the name Demigods. What to you is a demigod?
Well, the name came about because I was originally, like back in 2008, I was going to be Delphi and the Demigods, and then it just, when we got together again in 2010, it was like, well, why don't we just call us the Demigods? Why don't we call ourselves the Demigods? Well, Demigods basically means an offspring of a deity, which, if you research history and you really research into a lot of deeper knowledge,
aliens.
They're aliens.
Aliens.
I mean, I don't want to presume that I know exactly every single minute detail about every possible reality out there. However, if you look deep enough into the history, there are too many anomalies to really, to not cause any kind of question. So we kind of looked at it from that perspective. I'm a big Joseph Campbell. Well, all three of us, I think in the house that we live in,
we have five copies of The Power of Myth. Yeah,
The Power of Myth by Joseph Campbell.
Connect
so we're
pretty
huge.
well on literature, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. So we're big, myth heads, if you will, and just studying archetypes and understanding what archetypes are beyond the alien agenda too. It's like we try and do something that's on multiple levels. So
I think that's really missing from music too. A lot of the stuff from the 60s and 70s really took myths and put them in songs or ancient history.
Definitely.
And that's something I think that's really important, is putting history in your music
Definitely.
and in your lyrics.
I think the Demigods also, to me, represents, being a fan of stuff like the ancient Sumerian texts and things of that nature. The Demigods were always the ones that were genetic hybrids of the gods. And so I sort of, she already had the name Delphi, and so I sort of took on the name Achilles. So the problem is that most of the Demigods all seem to be males. And I'm the only male in the band, the other two teams. So we had trouble finding a demigod name for Jamie over here. But, I mean, for us, it just represents that, if you think about the idea of these, okay, let's say these demigods were real and they were part human, part extraterrestrial, part god, what have you. That's kind of a metaphor for what our music is, because it's not really one type of music. Everybody always asks us, what type of music do you play? Well, it's not really rock, it's not really pop, it's not really alternative. It's kind of an amalgamation of all those things. So I think the name really represents what our music is as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well then on that note, let's play a song. Now, can we play the 33rd Degree, the one that y'all were just talking about?
Is that on the CD?
I don't know if that's on the CD, or I think it is on the 10-disc CD, isn't it?
Yeah. I actually have it locked up.
There is a cuss word at the end.
No, it's okay.
Okay,
it's okay.
I didn't know if there's,
So let's get into this 33rd degree. Okay. Are you talking about like the Masonic 33rd degree, or is there more to it?
Tell them the story.
Okay, so the story goes, I started going crazy in about 2007 and all these things. I've been studying ancient history since I was very young. I've been to a lot of ancient places, been to Chichen Itza, and I was in Italy when I was young, in Scotland, I sat on the cairns and stuff like that. I traveled a lot.
Cool.
So I've been and every time I've traveled, I've always noticed anomalies, and I've always been keen on anomalies and looking at anomalies and things like that. So anyways, long story short, I was very fascinated in ancient history. That brought it into the conspiracy thing, into my questions about the Freemasons. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of them. There's quite a few questions that one could possibly come up with about the Freemasons. Well, the interesting thing about that song was I was kind of it was in a moment in my life where I was getting a lot of information constantly, and I was like, it was coming through me. I was churning it out. And that song, I was on a walk and in Denton, Texas, actually. I was just down from the courthouse, and I saw graffiti across this gigantic wall. And if anybody, is listening to the show who actually did this, please let me know. Send me an email or something, because I have a lot to thank you for. And but yeah, it was written on the wall: "This war is a murder of the 33rd degree." And there was a stencil of a square and compass and a 33rd degree, and I think the owl from Bohemian Grove symbol was also on there. And it just shocked me, because I was like, oh my God, it's here.
Yeah.
We're here. We are.
Somebody else gets it.
Somebody else gets it, and that was my own. Because I was in this town. I mean, no offense, I love Denton, but I was very alone in a lot of my beliefs, and that tends to happen if you're, in an academic setting, and only an academic perspective is, used in these things. And I'm an academic person. I enjoy that stuff, but at the same time, there's obvious anomalies here that are being covered up, and so I started just walking and hearing this song in my head, and it's 3 chords, the magic 3 chords and the truth, I guess. But
wow.
I don't pretend to claim that every single line in there is absolute true, but it's supposed to inspire someone to research into what it is. But so this war is a murder of the 33rd degree just really kind of sums up what I believe we are actually fighting for in the wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, in the occupation of Palestine, in the wars in Libya, in the wars in Yemen, the wars for resources, and, according to my research into ancient history, antiquities comes into a huge play. And yes, the knowledge of possible our origins, all this stuff comes into play. So I try and tie a lot of that stuff into the song, and it's a very long song, but cool. But yeah, that's where it comes from.
So, and this was the song that you had initially sent to Josh, correct?
Yeah, okay, I did it in old garage band.
Okay, cool. Well, then let's listen.
But this is not. This is.
Oh wait, no,
no, this is it. I'm sorry, this is not in GarageBand. This is the song that I've recorded with the Demigods. I wanted to make that clear. Yeah.
So, but it's the 33rd degree, and then y'all got together and
we did our own version of it. We did a new version of it. She had one version that she had done on her own that she put out, and that was the version I played. But when we got together, we were like, hey, let's do it, and so that's what we recorded. There.
Awesome, and that's what this is. All right, you're listening to the Demigods.
It's a murder of the 33rd degree. Let me tell it to you boys, as it's been told to me, through the stones and the mud and the sycamore tree. I promised that I wouldn't keep the truth inside of me. See, every year they gather in Bohemian Grove to sacrifice a kid to the undertow. And Malachi watches through the skull and bones, wipes his blood-red beak in the money that you owe. I think they got something hidden underground, weird lights in the sky, or heard some strange sounds. But this thing has no country, it has no name. When the eye in the pyramid is running the game, when the eye in the pyramid is running the game. So, mister, can you tell me, do you see the signs? I think we missed an exit and we're running out of time, and all the messengers are jaded and the captain's blind. Cut the seed from my belly and drown it in the wine. Sing here and pressure there, bring the red tide, and the pendulum is swinging low, but everything's fine. Just drink up your Dr. Poison and have a great time. Your vacation Hollywood reality show. Sit back, everyone, and watch it on the road. Or remember when a woman didn't have to be a stick. Pretty face puts on top, saying how many legs. Pretty face puts on top, saying how many legs. This war is a murder of the 33rd degree, and let me tell it to you boys, as it's been told to me. I saw it painted in black on the side of City Hall. They tried to cover it up, but they couldn't get it all. I remember when a song was worth more than gold. Little history is tapestry to each one of its notes. And remember when the revolution wasn't just a fad, it was on the brink of happening. Then the acid all went bad, and they took away the fight and replaced it with crack. Turned the Panthers into zombies and lock up all them bags. Well, fuck the shadow government for running the show. Fuck the puppet media, fuck the NWO. If you see what I see, then I let them know. You take away our liberties, but you can take our souls. Sing so they tell us from the time we're born, we're never truly free, and we're selfish if we put faith in our divinity. But I always suspected there was something going on. just below the radar. Neither song and when the towers fell, I knew something was wrong. It's time to wake her mama, she's been asleep too long. So all you pretty horses trample the streets. These people are alone in the deep city, but there's a current underground. Take the shoes off your feet, make the vines cover it all. Bring roses out of concrete. Sing They say, oh, my pretty child, have you lost your mind? I say the stars are biting now. Better throw out your line and cast a net from the rooftops and watch them shine. Pretty pearls in your hand, you've got no right to hide. These flowers are better, all the better degree. Let me tell it to you, boys. See, it's been told to me in all the books that I have read. The songs that I've seen are pebbles in the river, are the voices and the weak. And if one rebel stands, says I am a stone, and the others rise up and say we can hold our own. And then the river rises and the dam is blown. The time has come, kids, it's time to come home. Time to come home, time to come home. Sing
All right, it's Going Deep, the local show, and that was the Demigods, 33rd degree.
Mm-hmm.
All
33rd
right.
degree.
Yeah, look at me. What's up, guys?
Not
Not
much.
much.
Thank you,
Chilling.
man.
Fun.
Man, I promised
Good to
y'all
be here.
studio applause, and I couldn't get to it in time.
Oh, it's
I'm
all right.
sorry. There
There we go. All right.
Yay.
Delayed applause.
It's so nice to feel love.
Yeah.
Right?
We're running with the new computer, and I'm trying to get used to it, so it's a little older.
Always takes time.
Yeah. So anyway, all right, man. The Demigods in studio. I'm so excited. The Demigods consist of Josh, Jamie, and Delphi. And their website is thedemigodsmusic.com. On the website, can they find some of your music?
Yes,
Yes,
if they go
you
to
can.
music or tracks, I believe it's a tab at the top. And you can also download our album off of thedemigodsrock.bandcamp.com. You can download our entire album off of that too.
Now, I Googled you guys, the Demigods, and number one, some interesting stuff pops up when you Google
Yeah, I
you guys.
bet.
Number one, the first one that was really weird is the Demigod panties. Why is the Demigod panties being popped
I have
up?
We
no
have those.
idea.
We do
what
have those, though.
you
We
were
have the
talking
Demigods
about.
panties.
We have Demigods panties for sale, actually.
So what are the Demigod panties?
I don't know where there's a link about those.
That's really wild. Maybe someone
They were
bought-
posted on Facebook on a picture.
They were.
Well, so what? But what is it?
Well,
just
I-
They're panties that are spray
they're-
painted with art that she made.
oh, wow.
Yeah, I made some T-shirts and I created the stencils and stuff, and I put a nice all-seeing eye over the crotch, and I wrote I spray painted the Demigods
That's
on the
awesome.
back.
They're highly sought after collector's items
Yeah,
at this point.
absolutely.
we
If
also
you
have
can
a
find
male
them.
fan as well who likes to sport them.
We do have a male fan that sports them. Yes.
Yeah.
Around
Wow.
Denton.
Sadly
Okay.
enough.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Interesting. Why the third eye?
Well, who should take that question? Jeez.
Well, I mean,
the
it's
third
kind
eye
of
is-
to me it's just I don't know. I mean, you guys might agree with this, you might not, but to me I think it's kind of like okay, they have the powers that be use these symbology, secret societies use these
Yes.
symbols and stuff, and a lot of them in many cases are corruptions and bastardizations of other things. So it's kind of like reclaiming symbols that are being used for negative emotions and negative energies and reclaiming that and trying to use it to put out something positive, because these symbols that necessarily people like the all-seeing eye, some people say it's the all-seeing eye of Ra, all-seeing eye of Lucifer, blah, blah, blah. But the fact of the matter is, none of these things necessarily have negative qualities. It's the emotion and the things that you're trying to put forward using these. For instance, putting one on the back of a dollar bill is sort of has has the effect of getting us all wrapped up in money and material things. But I think using it in that sort of context is reclaiming it.
Absolutely, it's a feminist reclaiming of the of the eye. But it's also just that's what we try and do in a lot of our music is to reclaim those sacred symbols and to reclaim that sacred knowledge, because we've all studied quite a bit. Manly P. Hall's books are especially helpful, Franz Bardone, but there's a lot, we've studied so much that shows the positive aspects of the occult and the positive aspects of alchemy and understanding that it's more of a gnosis, it's more of a deeper knowledge of things than anything that you're trying to manipulate or control. I think that's where people go wrong, is if you were trying to manipulate the powers that exist all throughout the universe, then you're going to have repercussions from that, and you're going to end up with some negative repercussions that come back. But if you're trying to work with and flow with and reclaim, those are the powers that are unstoppable in a lot of ways.
Awesome. Basically, what you say, it's all about the intent of how you're using the symbols. Mm-hmm. I think it's beautiful. One thing that the audience doesn't know, because we kind of just talked about it today, but we're gonna do a show later on next month where we talk a little bit about these subjects and meditation and whatnot. Yeah. But let's kind of jump into it a little bit right now, if you don't mind, especially since we're talking about the third eye and the symbol of the third eye. Do you, from my understanding, the third eye is the pineal gland.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Which we talk about a whole lot.
What is your view on the third eye? Do you think that we have to open it in some way, or do you think it's already open and we just need to use it?
I think it definitely needs exercise, that's for sure.
Absolutely. In my experience, the third eye is something that, you have to practice that every day. And it's just, to me, opening the third eye and opening that kind of DMT consciousness, or having that DMT release through opening your pineal gland, comes through meditation, silence, quietness, but also through being in nature and feeling things, come through you, basically. So music is a good way to practice that meditation, and art as well,
I think it's also being aware of the much larger world and much larger universe that you exist in, and that there are things that are so much larger than we are around us all the time, but kind of through society and programming and culture and all this stuff, we oftentimes repress that. And I made a little mini documentary that's on YouTube called Reality of Illusion Part 1, The Pineal Gland. And one of the things I show in that little mini documentary is some of the different representations of the pine cone and how the pine cone represents the pineal gland. And in fact, in front of the Vatican in Rome, there is a giant pine cone on a pedestal that's green. And a green pine cone is unopened. It's not achieved its maximum potential, and it's sitting between two peacocks, which is a symbol of reincarnation and a symbol of immortality. And for that to be in the seat of all religion in the world, it's showing you right there that's exactly what they want. They want you to keep your third eye closed. They don't want enlightenment to come in. They don't want the light to come in. So it's up to us to be able to do that. As you said, the different things that you can do to do that and open that up, I think it's it's been documented. Meditation or music and basically anything that causes your soul to basically really just bring your body and your soul simultaneously alive.
Yes, absolutely. Anything that brings your soul alive.
We have a song called Dream Gates that talks about dimethyltryptamine, which is the thing that your pineal gland secretes at birth, at death, while you're dreaming, times of stress. Sex, it does that as well. The orgasm, you have different moments in time when it's DMT releases, and that's kind of what Jamie saw that she wrote. DMT, Cheryl Delphi does a spoken word thing at the beginning of that, and it sort of encompasses all of the things about this is it, it's there, and that's how you're able to open it. Yeah, use it.
I think we all got into meditation and learning about these things at a pretty young age. I know I did. I found out about the third eye and meditation when I was about 15 or 16, and I can remember meditating and learning about those things and really feeling the third eye energy, almost like a little thing was, scratching on my right between my eyes, and it really felt like it was opening. And I think that's the age where it really does start to open and you really do start to see. So I can really remember feeling that energy and locking onto that energy.
From my understanding, whenever you open your third eye for the first time, whenever you get your chakras really going and spinning, it's like a Kundalini experience.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is wrapped around the root chakra, comes up. Mm-hmm. Have y'all ever had what's known as a Kundalini experience or anything similar to that?
I'm having one right now.
Definitely.
Well, I think that a lot of people, my certainly first experience with that when I was younger was through the use of psychedelics and things of that nature, because I didn't really know a lot about the spiritual stuff, but those things when I was younger kind of helped me get into the frame of mind where I could learn how to do that stuff, completely sober and during meditation. And there's all sorts of springboards for it. The most important thing is knowing that it's not some far-off, unattainable dream. It's not something you have to become a part of a religion to do or have a certain belief. It's something that exists in every single one of us, and regardless of your background, where you're from, what color you are, what age you are, or anything else, it's something every single one of us has the power to do. And I think, to me, that's really the most important aspect of the song Dreamgates as well.
Why? And we're going to play Dreamgates next. But why do y'all think in our society this kind of talking about this kind of stuff is shunned? Is we're made to feel like we're weird or
everything's designed so that we don't figure that out, because something about us figuring that out seems to be very threatening to the power structure.
Because you can do anything when you know that. You can do anything, and that's the thing that we are just now beginning to realize, is that literally anything is possible. And your intent behind it completely determines what the outcome of that is. But I have seen things in my day that, as much as this, as more people begin to open their consciousness like this, and realize that they're limitless. That's what they don't want.
We got a crazy rainbow mugger giving a shout out from London, England.
London,
nice.
London
cool.
town.
Cheerio, mate.
What you were saying though about saying that to people, I think it's been definitely a lot easier in the past couple of years to talk to people about that kind of stuff than it was even just 5 years ago. I remember when I found out about that stuff, I wanted to tell everybody about it because it was so exciting. And it was like telling people my age, I lost friends because I was a weirdo or I was into weird things. Mm-hmm. So people are starting to definitely open their eyes a little more. Things are starting to get pretty heavy.
Now, y'all mentioned music as a way of, opening your chakras and whatnot. Do y'all use binaural beats or Safigo? Are y'all into Safigo tunes or binaural beats?
I definitely like to listen to it. We don't really use it in our music, but I like to use it during meditation from now on.
Well, yeah, but there's a reason why the word musician and the word magician are very similar to each other, because whether you know it or not, when you play music, you're engaging in magic. You are using frequencies and spectrums that affect consciousness, subconscious and conscious. So to us, that's kind of what we try to do, is we try to put the magic into the music, because it does affect your consciousness. And I think that's very important to us when we're thinking about lyrics and the tone of the song and how it's approached. And with a rock band, it's sort of one of those things where you don't give people a choice. It's like, you're going to be pummeled with these frequencies, and here it is, and it's very immediate. And I think that's something that has been needed for a longest time, because anymore we don't really have time to sit around and just wait for people to catch up with us anymore. We have to be proactive about all this.
Mm. Awesome. Let's play the Dream Gates. Awesome. And then when we come back, I want to tell a story of something that happened over the weekend, where I was actually physically able to tap into this magic.
Excellent.
that you talk about. And while we're playing this song, maybe y'all can think of a time where if y'all have maybe tapped into this and brought it into this physical reality. Okay. And we'll talk about that when we come back. Is that cool?
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
All right. All right, Going Deep, the local show. That was Dream Gates by the Demigods. And we got the Demigods in studio. Hey.
All right.
So, the Dream Gates, that song that just played, one of the lyrics, because you actually sent me some of your lyrics, Jamie, and they're absolutely beautiful, all of them. It really is. It's like reading a story whenever you hear y'all's music. But one in particular, tune into your messenger, winding the dial with style. Anywhere the wind blows, let your truth measure miles. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Really is.
Thank you.
So you're in that. Are you talking about, when you say tuning into your messenger, are you talking about your higher self?
Sure. I mean, that could be one way of explaining it.
Yeah.
I think there's many ways of explaining your messenger. Could be your guardians. Could be, anything you think that your messenger is. I think we get messages all the time, constantly. Just even random thoughts or messages, I think. Definitely.
Yeah, it's I do too. I had an experience over the weekend where a message, but that's actually not the story that I wanted to tell. So I guess we can get into that. So over the weekend, I went to Wyoming, up in the Bighorn Mountains.
So beautiful.
And it was absolutely lovely. I mean, the whole time it was so great. It got down to 40 degrees at night, so it was nice and cool during the day. And one of the nights that we were there, we went camping, like out in the tent, the whole like camping thing, building the fire, having to cook your food on the fire. Well, it was about to start raining. Like, we could hear the thunder. Clouds were rolling in. Well, anytime I go out into the wilderness, one of the first things that I do is I carve a staff, a walking stick, but I make them big, like a staff. And so I took the staff and I put it into the ground, and I acknowledged that the area probably needed the water, which it did, but that we were needing to have a fire to build food. And I just, in a loving way, kind of pushed the rain around us. And, man, I can't even tell you how awesome it was to see sheets of rain all around us for not just like 10 minutes. It lasted hours, like
Good.
probably 2 or 3 hours, where
Excellent.
it just rained all around us, and we felt maybe 3 drops the entire time. I mean, and there were times when it would really start picking up and blowing really hard, and we'd put everything in the tent thinking it was about to start, and I would just put my stick out there and just kind of push it to the side, and it stayed off of us.
It's amazing what energy can do when you put that energy out.
I was just talking about that same thing on my radio show last night. Whenever you acknowledge that things are there, like the universe, or you acknowledge, an energy bigger than yourself or nature or anything like that, it's funny how immediately, as soon as you acknowledge it, it starts to respond back to you. That very much sounds like what you experienced.
It was.
Yeah. And
that night, we also we had been talking all day long how we wanted to look at the stars, and it literally, just in our area, we had the most clearest sky, but all around it, you could see the dark clouds. I mean, it was just beautiful, and we had an amazing UFO experience.
Awesome.
Which that's another thing I want to get into here in a second. But did you guys have any stories? You mentioned something on a hill during the break.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, for me, actually, it's kind of interesting. It ties into both what you were saying and Josh was saying. My first experiences with DMT were when I was a very small child communicating with animals to me.
Oh, wow.
And like animals were always my closest friends, because if you acknowledge that they are sentient and acknowledge that they are true, then you get so much more out of their friendship than if you treat them like they are subordinate. So I noticed that. And then I noticed that happened when I drew. If I talked to a picture, if I kind of listened to what a picture needed, then I would draw something way more amazing than I would if I had done it with my brain and my hand. And I started doing that with songs, and I know you guys have had experiences with that throughout your lives as well. I mean, it just seems to me that, acknowledging that source, that thing that vibrates below all of our physical bodies, not acknowledging that as something more powerful than yourself, it just, what comes through you is totally, it's all right, is more of a product of that than for me at least, that's what it feels like.
It's beautiful.
Thanks.
So, now, do you guys, what are y'all thinking about the times we're in right now? I mean, there's so much going on. Common Ellum, I mean, the rapture, the fake rapture. I mean, what is going on right now?
Well, I think they're really trying to hijack the consciousness shift. Absolutely. I mean, there's a consciousness shift going on that affects everybody on the planet, and we have a very rare opportunity right now to harness that and tap into that in a positive way. And yet, through cognitive dissonance, we're being reinforced with constant, the doomsday. Like you said, doomsday is going to come this day. It's the end of the world this day. Nibiru, Planet X, floods, dogs and cats living together. Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I mean, they've told us pretty much everything is going to come and ruin us.
Zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. Is so people get caught up in the negativity. And it's a fact, and people out there who haven't experienced this yet, you will if you pay attention to it, but we have the ability to manifest everything into our own reality. And it seems that there's this push to try to get us to manifest negativity.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the most interesting thing about right now is not only the amount of things that are happening that are amazing and the consciousness shift that's going on and how we're moving towards a galactic alignment next year in 2012, but also the amount of just phony fear and negativity and things that are being trying to push on us during this time when we should be really adapting to our own enlightenment and 12-strand DNA activation and all of that stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, just as you experienced in the wilderness, you could keep rain away from your fire. Think about the type of power that is generated when a bunch of people think that the world is literally going to get hit by a comet, or we are going to end it, or there are aliens that are going to attack us, or some bullshit. There's so much that can be manifested, and there's so much that can be manifested for good, and that's really what we're trying to get out there as much as possible, is that vibrational energy for good.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
You talk about a consciousness shift. What does that mean? To somebody who is, listening for the first time, has no idea what a consciousness shift is.
Well, it has to do with moving into different ages, like
Absolutely.
you're moving from out of the age.
Astrologically as well.
Yeah, that's really what it is. Galactic alignment. There's a cycle of galactic alignment. Go explain that for us, Delphi.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at historically, there's. If you even just look at the basic history that we get taught in school, I mean, you move from different ages up to the current age, and progressively since the AD area, about 1 AD or so, it's we've gotten more and more liberal in a lot of our ideas. We've gotten a lot more spiritual. These secret societies have started to come out a little bit more, and people are starting to understand and know the secret knowledge that has been hidden. Because if you look a little bit further back into history, it's the stuff that was hidden from us from pre-Sumeria, and from a seafaring civilization that possibly was around the world. And then if you look at the Mayan calendar, it's they say that there's a 26,000 year cycle to this, and that's only a part of an even larger cycle, 104 million years or something like that. It keeps going and going, and Terence McKenna also talks about it in the time wave, different peaks of history where there are high peaks of novelty or high peaks of creation. So any time in history, like say for the Renaissance, for example, since the Renaissance we have very high peak of creation, high peak of novelty, and then it's just basically exponentiated from there. Up until the present day, where we have a new invention technologically every few seconds now. I mean, it's very, very fast. That's a part of the technological shift and the consciousness shift are tied in together, because one helps the other to grow, but at the same time, they both have to work in tandem so that neither dominates.
It also has to do with the great revealing.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're told through stuff like the Book of Revelation and all this doom gloom, end times prophecy stuff, that Revelation has to do with the end of the world, when in reality, the Revelation is the great revealing. That is what the consciousness shift is. All will be revealed. Lies will be exposed. We will find out things about ourselves and about our planet that has been hidden from us, and that is kind of what we're heading towards. This, as Jamie mentioned, it has to do with things, the plans, the transit of Pluto, different astrological signs, moving out of the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, which actually happens over the span of 600-700 years.
Also, each planet's energy on us is really important.
And there actually is hard evidence that the powers that be are well aware of this. In fact, there's a book that was written in 1969 by the former National Security Advisor Zbigniew Brzezinski called Between Two Ages, The Rise of the Technotronic Era. This was written in the late 60s. If you read this book, he lays out exactly what's going on in our world now with the medical industrial complex, with the haves and the have-nots, neo-feudalism, and that book being called Between Two Ages is interesting because that's exactly where we are now. We're our generation and the people that are alive on this planet right now are feeling the pull of both ages, the pull of the old age, trying to get us to go back to old habits and old things that we used to do that we're trying to leave by the wayside, and then the new age is trying to pull us into it and bring about these new revelations. So we're stuck right in the middle of that, and that's what's causing all this chaos on the planet right now.
You mentioned earlier 12-strand DNA. Is that something that is going to happen to us? We're going to activate? And what does that mean? Because I know we have what science calls junk DNA.
Mm-hmm. It's basically just sitting there.
And so when you mention 12-strand DNA, that's that so-called quote-unquote junk DNA becoming active, correct?
Supposedly, yeah. This supposedly has to do as well with the this really is kind of entailed to get into. It's kind of deep, but people think about the whole old 2012 thing and how they're told that it's going to be the end of the world. Well, the Mayans didn't actually say it was going to be the end of the world. They said it was the end of the known world. So a lot of people have keyed in on that. The 12-strand DNA activation is talked about as far as us becoming. We're three-dimensional beings right now, but the great revealing is supposed to be about us ascending and becoming light beings through this 12-strand DNA activation. What's amazing about that is that all the things in our food and our water don't allow this to happen. Almost everybody out there, no matter where you are, unless you drink bottled water, and even it has fluoride in it most of the time, fluoride calcifies what you were talking about earlier, Jensen, your pineal gland. When you take in fluoride into your body, it calcifies that and doesn't allow it to work. MSG, monosodium glutamate, aspartame, any of these excitotoxins keep your DNA from resonating and actually elevating itself and evolving into something higher than that. And so, whether or not we're going to achieve that or not, I don't know. But I do see that there is evidence to support the fact that they are trying. Someone is trying to keep that from happening.
So, okay, let's change topics just a little, not too much. Are y'all familiar with the Galactic Federation?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
What is y'all's opinion on that?
I think it's hogwash.
It smells very contrived. I guess it just smells contrived to me. I think that as a person that I could probably say, I think I have channeled or talked to something beyond myself quite a bit. I think that kind of nullifies another human being's personal experience with that consciousness, and it kind of tries to control it into saying that this is exactly what they are saying, because to me, in my experiences, it seems like there are different kinds of energies that come through that talk and speak and stuff. They don't always say the same thing, and you have to be very careful when you're channeling or meditating deeply to understand that sometimes those things may not be saying things that are absolutely true. They might be saying something on an agenda line, and that you really need to listen deeply to yourself. And I don't know. It just smells funny to me.
Okay, so then what are your views on extraterrestrials?
Well, I say...
Lee, this is... Man, I didn't know we were going to go here.
Oh, it's deep.
How much time do you have?
Man.
Well, I think it's back to what we were saying earlier. I mean, here's the thing is, in this time that we're in right now, there's a lot of cognitive dissonance. There's a lot of things that, because we are in this age where so much is happening, there's a lot of real stuff that people are seeing and experiencing out there, but then there's a lot of stuff that isn't real. And so what seems to be going on is this campaign of confusing people to where they don't know what's real and what isn't. And it seems to be very premeditated, So I would say, as far as the extraterrestrial question goes, I mean, people need to look into the ancient Sumerian text.
Absolutely.
So the translations by Zechariah Sitchin. You can look into the Lost Book of Enki.
History is really where it's at.
Yeah.
It's all in there.
Do you think that there is a dark cabal controlling the world, and do you think they are in alignment with some kind of dark ET force?
Yes.
Yes.
I would say
okay, then with that being said, obviously with y'all studying alchemy and whatnot, there is the yin to the yang.
Right.
So if there are dark extraterrestrial forces,
yes,
there must be light.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, and I think that's definitely what's going on. I mean, a lot of the evidence points in the direction that, for instance, over Chernobyl, when you had that nuclear fallout there, you had UFOs all over Chernobyl.
Yep.
Fukushima, the same thing in Japan, UFOs all over there. There has been mass sightings of UFOs in Virginia for the past year, all near where they had the earthquake last week. And there's been a lot of people for a lot of years who have talked about these extraterrestrials coming. They've been spotted over nuclear missile silos, them coming here and trying to keep us from destroying ourselves with nuclear energy and nuclear weapons. And there was a doctor by the name of a guy by the name of Dr. Werner von Braun. He was ex-head of the Nazi space program. He was brought over to the United States after World War II in Project Paperclip and headed up NASA. And he talked about, in the last years of his life when he was dying of cancer, he told his secretary that, look, this is how they're going to take over the world. First, they're going to tell us that the threat is communism. We saw that. Then they're going to tell us that the threat is from third world crazy terrorists. We saw that. And then the next threat is going to be asteroids and threats of aliens. And that he said that they were specifically going to tell us that these non-hostile aliens that were here to try to help us get off nuclear energy and nuclear weapons they were going to tell us they were here to destroy us, so that we would weaponize space and create a one-world government to fight this external threat. And we've seen more on space-based weapons spent in fiscal year 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011 than we ever have in the history of that. We've seen all these anomalies happening. So I think as far as that goes, I think there is some force out there that is trying to keep us from destroying ourselves, but
absolutely,
the powers that be are, again, trying to tell us that that's our enemy.
Yeah,
and go ahead.
Also, we've had experiences where we've seen UFOs, and we, like what you saw in Marathon with your mom, where you get a very loving energy.
Absolutely, every time I've ever experienced.
Almost like a very open energy where it is not dangerous. You can feel it's not dangerous, but other times, Josh and I have seen some very weird things involving chemtrails in the year between 05 to, maybe before then, 03 to 07. He and I saw all kinds of strange anomalies involving chemtrails and UFOs where you wouldn't be getting that kind of energy or the loving energy. It was almost like it wasn't...
Intimidating.
It almost wasn't an alien. It was almost like a machine energy and a negative energy.
You guys, y'all have actually some footage of a UFO that we're going to play here in just a second. But before we play this, before we started the show, y'all were talking about the festival in Oklahoma that y'all did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all actually saw something. Can y'all tell the story?
Well, it was a bright light. It was we
were in two separate places, though. That was interesting.
Yeah,
the group was
I
split
don't know
up.
where I was at.
Jamie was off partying and dancing around with glow sticks and stuff like that or something.
No.
But another friend of ours he's a guy, but his name's Jamie. He and I were standing by the stage and we were looking up and we saw this. It didn't have. We were like, wait a minute, that doesn't have flashers on it. That's not a plane. It was moving very slowly. It was just a white ball of light moving across the sky. And we were sitting there looking at it for like 3 or 4 minutes, going, man, what is that? And it was moving slow, and a couple of minutes later, Delphi and her boyfriend Jason walk up, and they were like, did you see that?
Yeah.
Are you guys seeing this? Look, and we were like standing there looking at this thing for like 20 minutes, and everybody else was oblivious to us. But that's the thing is, no matter where you're at, if you just go outside and look up,
absolutely.
I encourage everyone to just look up, look at the skies every day, and I promise you, day or night, you're going to see something. But most people are just not looking.
Well, not only that, but you can go out and look and actually physically ask to see something, and you will. every time I have,
absolutely,
I have seen something.
Yeah,
you experienced that as well, Delphi.
Oh yeah, I've experienced that many times, and yeah, it's incredible. And again, yeah, when I said I didn't necessarily trust the Galactic Federation, I'm talking about the YouTube videos that say this is a transcription from the Galactic Federation. I'm not talking about, is there a benevolent source out there, or a benevolent force of positive beings that are helping us? Yes, absolutely.
Do you think that they will reveal themselves to us in our lifetime, or? I
think they have, and I think we don't necessarily see all the time. I think we have to have the eyes to see in order to understand.
Mm-hmm. Basically, what I'm asking is, do you think there will be some form of like disclosure going on where it is admitted that?
Well, what I'm talking about is more like the beings that are, to me, the beings that are the truly positive force. Those aren't necessarily the UFOs that crash at Roswell, or that we the little gray guys and stuff. It's not necessarily. I don't know if that is the same. There could be. I mean, there's billions of UFO experiences and stuff. But to me, it just seems like that a government disclosure is suspect.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's play this UFO video. Before we do, take us back to this video. What was going on?
Well, we were at our friend Summer's house, and there was a full moon, and I had just got a new video camera, and I went out back to get some video footage of the full moon, and I kept noticing that as I was pointing it at the moon, I would see something in the viewfinder I wouldn't see with my naked eye, and when I kept looking back, I noticed that in the viewfinder there was this triangular star field. I mean, I don't know, there were just these lights, and they seemed to have, some of them seemed to be trails with what looked like airplane contrails or chemtrails going towards other balls of light. Just very strange things, and I could not see them with the naked eye. You could only see them through the camera. And so I was freaking out once I saw that. I put it up on YouTube, and it went around on the web, and I got a message from a guy in Montana who was filming at the exact same time, only he was farther up north, and he caught exactly what I caught very close up on camera, so you can actually see that on YouTube. I don't know what this was. I can't explain it. I tried to get other people to offer up explanations. Nobody, as of yet, has been able to offer up anything that sounded legitimate, but wow. It's very interesting.
Let's go ahead and play that footage.
I'm filming and I have no idea what this is. Whether these are stars or what it is my camera lens is picking up in the sky, but I want you guys to see this. Are those chemtrail planes at night? Is that what I'm seeing here? I'll pan back again. You can see the field. You can see the patterns. Now let me zoom in on one of these. I want you guys to see. There's the moon. Whatever that is either coming down out of the sky or flying up into the sky. Whatever it is, it has a tremendous amount of light and energy to it. Now, I cannot see this with my naked eye. I simply came out to take pictures of the moon. And as I was looking through the finder here, I started seeing these things. And I cannot, for the life of me, and all of the research and knowledge that I have, know what this is. Could they be the famed sky serpents? I don't know. But as you can see, folks, here as I pan around the sky, they are everywhere. And they are moving. I'll try to hold the camera still to watch so you can see. That is moving.
This next song is very important to me. The song is called Culture's Change. My boyfriend Christopher Small told me about this book, Ishmael, by Daniel Quinn, a couple of years ago. And this whole series of books, which talks about our planet and how we think we own it, inspired me to write this song called Culture's Change.
All right, it's Going Deep, the local show. What was the name of that song, that video?
Culture's Chains.
That's awesome. Okay, so when one of the times when I was Googling you guys, some of the stuff that popped up, I looked on your Facebook. How does Salute? That's the name of the song, right?
Yes.
That wasn't Salute that we just played?
No, that was Culture's Chains.
Oh, hell. I thought it was Salute.
We did send you a live version of Salute. I don't know if you got it or not.
Well, yeah, I did, and I don't know. I thought that was it, but I guess it wasn't. Well, how does Salute represent the new level of the band? Because I read that.
Salute was a song. How long ago did I write that song?
Well, the first time we played it was earlier this year. We opened for Dakota Vega.
Yeah.
So that was the first of the year, yeah.
Man, that song really has been a great one in our live performance here lately. And that was a song that I just started writing acoustically. I never really played it with a band. But there's something about that song when we play it that I really connect with the audience on a really heartfelt level. And I like to always dedicate the song to the audience. And it's really using that heart chakra and, believing in your dreams. A lot of the times when I write songs, I like to piece together things that I've written over the years. And that first line, push in the tide of your abstract waters, color in the lines of the enemies you've slaughtered, acquire all the energy to understand this land, and wash it all down with a glass of love, was something that I wrote in 2008 when I was really, really, really just frustrated. And I think it's really cool to go back into your journals and find lines that you've written, because you really, really feel it later on. And it's just a great song, full band, than it is just solo. I think we all really connect when we play that song as well. The beat of it kind of has a heartbeat sound to it, and now we even have Moog sound on it. So it's really transforming. I think it's still transforming.
Mm-hmm. I love playing it for me because it's one of those where it requires an extreme amount of concentration to play right, and that's why I like it so much. And it just really, as she said, we all seem to lock in on that song, which you try to do every time when you play. It doesn't happen on every song, but that one it seems to do it a lot. And it's really, I think we're going to be recording that one in a couple of weeks. We're going to be going back into the studio real soon.
Yeah, we will be getting back into the studio and updating these tracks.
Well, I thought we had it. Unfortunately, we don't. Is there another one on this list that y'all want to go out on? I was wanting to do Sun in Your Sky.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Is that cool?
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about Sun in Your Sky, but before you do, where can people find y'all's music again?
The demigodsrock.bandcamp.com is one place that you can download in FLAC, and our album is...
Yeah, you can buy the whole CDs there,
You can buy the whole CD. We also have some live tracks that are up for sale there, too. We also have the live CDs on Josh's radio network, theglobalreality.com. And, so...
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us. It was so great.
Josh, if you ever would like to have me come in on your show and talk about some stuff, I sure would love to.
Absolutely, man. We'll talk about doing something together for sure.
I'm pretty versed in the the world that you're in myself.
I noticed. You hit us with some stuff I wasn't expecting today.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to go out with Sun in Your Sky. What is Sun in Your Sky?
Sun in Your Sky was a song that I wrote, I think, late 2008, 2009. It was originally on my solo album, 2038, A Message Through Time, kind of a concept album on being on another planet of destruction, kind of like this planet. Sun in Your Sky, I started writing watching a film about Monsanto.
Oh, wow.
I say this human race, we think we're all the same, bad habits and lies, suicide, genocide. I kind of go into, just talking about the different things that are going on and just kind of letting go and having a good time and, really knowing that things are going to get better and just, letting your light shine is pretty much what that song's all about. But another one that's really transformed in the band, because I started out playing it just, acoustically, and it has really, really grown since we've attained more equipment and stuff like that. And that's another one of the songs that really, really connect with the audience. And, you know, you can really look at people when you say certain things and they really understand it. And that's really important.
Awesome.
People know what you're saying.
All right, well, let's check it out. Sun in Your Sky, the Demigods.
This human race, we think we're all the same. Bad habits and lies, genocide, suicide. But there's a light in you, it's in me too. Breathe in and breathe out, energy's all around, yeah. Genetically modified, all battered and fried. Gloom, doom, consumed. This planet's altered and bruised, but we can all hold hands and smile away the fear. Grab a hold of the sunbeam, baby, and don't make it disappear. The coming of the new age is here.